FSD Beta firsthand, and CyberWhistle sound reveal. I'm Brian. Welcome to my Tesla weekend. I had the unique chance to experience FSD Beta, and it was pretty different from what I expected. I also got a hands-on and lips-on experience with the CyberWhistle, which definitely wasn't what I expected. So, let's see what's up. And thank you to my new and upgrading Patreons, Walt, Steve, Travelin' Mo, Mark, and Bob. Thank you guys so much. A while back, a channel fan got in touch with me and let me know he has FSD Beta. And he wanted to know if I would like to see it firsthand, check it out. I mean, that's an obvious hard yes, right? For sure, I wanted to see what was up. I had hoped to make a better video out of this, but a lack of planning on my part meant I wouldn't have a dedicated dashcam, and a cascade of other technical problems led to other shortfalls on my part. But he says he's going to come back next month, so we're going to do it properly then. In the meantime, let's check it out. Thing is, we've been dealing with a sick dog, and apparently there's a lack of veterinary capacity in our Tri-County area, so we were short on sleep. But we still had a great time, and I hope you enjoy this little encounter. Today's video will be in 3 parts. First is the experience of FSD Beta and the takeaways from that. The second is the CyberWhistle. And the last is my first experience with a performance model Tesla from launch. So let's talk FSD Beta. So he backed out onto the road, asked where we should set it for a destination, and I picked a pretty tricky route. We got to chatting, and within minutes we, and by we I mean me, my son in the back, my wife in the back, we forgot it was even driving. If you had told me that it was faked and he was actually driving, you'd have been hard-pressed to believe otherwise. It was more aggressive than I expected. It braked more smoothly than I expected and handled lights and turns, flawlessly. So I set a destination that took us over a high, narrow, stressful bridge, the kind of thing that humans kind of freak out about. And it handled it like it was just a normal road. So before we knew it, we'd gone a lot farther than we meant to. So we turned it around, and I set a new destination, one I considered even more complicated. Yeah, it went back over the bridge, which it handled just fine, but I set it and to take us through a tricky roundabout. Set it and forget it, as Ronco would sue us for saying, mostly because they're just plain awful as human beings. Yeah, I do have experience with them Ronco folks from previous professional encounters, if you can call what those clowns do professionalism. Different matter. So when we got back into town, the destination I had put in sent it through the big, weird roundabout in the city square. I mean, it hesitated hard on the entry, then lunged far across 3 lanes before my buddy just took over and just grabbed the wheel and was like, in the interest of personal and public safety, we're going to finish this one manually. So at that point I asked him, do you think it's safer than a student driver? And he said, absolutely. Absolutely. And from our drive, I wouldn't even hesitate to agree. It wasn't like watching your 15-and-a-half-year-old drive. It was like watching your 21 or 23-year-old drive. That's my take. So he's not just a fan of this channel, but all the usual suspects. So, he likes the Dave Lees, the Stephen Mark Ryans, the Rob Mowers, the Marcus House. He likes them all, as do I. So we had endless stuff to talk about on the drive, and we spent over 2 hours just cruising around back roads into weird areas I'd never seen before. And our robo driver never got tired. Our robo-driver never complained. Our robo-driver never asked for a break, never took every single of its many eyes off every part of the world around us, and it really just ran pretty great. One thing that he pointed out to me is that you can always spot an FSD Beta car because in a straight line, it doesn't waver and wobble between the lines like a human does. I mean, you and I, we get in a lane and we think we're driving straight. We're not. We're not. He's watched it get better and better with each iteration, but I haven't. I've only seen this once, and it was a remarkably calming experience. I spend about 99% of my road time as the driver rather than the passenger, so no matter who it is that's driving, apart from myself, I'm stressed out. Doesn't matter if it's a taxi driver, a buddy, a neighbor, whatever. You're too fast, you're too slow, you're not paying attention to the side traffic, whatever it may be. I always second guess others behind the wheel. And well, I should. I know how terrible human beings are at, generally driving. FSD Beta wasn't just smooth, it was reassuring. It was assuring itself. The only half minute of stress I experienced was when it stumbled at the roundabout, which I can tell you from experience, people who have lived here their whole lives deal with often just as poorly and sometimes more dangerously. So, let's get on to the CyberWhistle. He got one. How cool is that? I was mad curious what it was going to sound like on account of its unusual shape and, the method of construction and all that. Is it like a referee whistle, but with a lower pitch? Is it normal but muted on account of the stainless steel construction? Dude, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I was definitely curious.
So, are we going down?
So Here we go.
What we've got here is the CyberWhistle on loan from channel fan Bob. We're going to see how beautiful it sounds. Here we go. Holy smokes. That is not what I was expecting. The quality is absolutely amazing. It's so well machined for a necklace, so you can lanyard this bad boy up. And even though it's raining, it's also stainless. So it's beautiful. Yep, that's not what I expected. So if you bought one, I don't know, man, it's more art than utility. Gorgeous machining, but it sounds like a helium waterbed leaking badly. Mad cool, maybe not the most practical item. And lastly, let's take a look at my first experience with a green light launch in a performance model Tesla. Now, I've been in tuned rides, I've been in hot rods, I've even owned a showroom new Viper back in my younger and vastly more foolish days. I know acceleration, but the thing is here, you can see from the footage, the pavement is wet. So obviously, don't have too high of expectations. Oh, you have? All kinds of... Yeah.
They just roll up next to you and did they even try?
Anything that breaks rubber.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, it's over.
It's over. I mean, it's not like this is rocket science either.
You ever watch the Plaid racing channels? Holy sh! That's unreal. And that's in the rain.
Well, yeah.
Holy.
It never spins a tire. It's life-changing, son.
Okay, yeah, that was definitely not what I expected. I couldn't feel a single foot of wheel slip, and the acceleration was kind of alarming, like on a visceral level, and it did it all while remaining dead silent. This car is something else. I have never experienced traction control like this, let alone acceleration like this, and this is a commuter car. So is FSD worth the $10,000 or $12,000? Well, a lot of people still say it is not. A lot of people say they'd rather drive than pay for the added benefit, even if it was level 4 or 5 today. And that's fair. It isn't for everyone.
But if you buy a level 4 ready car today and it's complete next year, you're going to be able to sell it to the skittish drivers or the blind or those who otherwise can't or won't be able to maintain road attention at all times, and do so at a premium. If you had asked me a week ago if FSD was worth $10K, I'd have said no without hesitation. Well, now I've experienced it. So even as cheap of a skate as I am, I'm pretty much convinced. I get it now. If you're trying to compare it to autopilot, or the more common thing on social media, third-hand accounts of what people say it is, well, you just don't know what you're talking about. It's already reasonably competent, and the back-end tech to get it across the finish line is entirely in place. So, what did I miss or misunderstand? Leave me all your thoughts and brilliance in the comments below, and stay tuned, stay juicy, and I simply cannot wait to hear from you clever robots in our impending autonomous future. And a huge thanks to my Patreons who get early access, bonus material, an ad-free experience, and to help keep the channel running for as little as $1 a month. I appreciate you guys, because, you know, I literally cannot do this without you. So, thank you all so much.